So you're an experienced PM and you're trying to determine whether you go with startups or you go big tech next. What's better for your career? Here are my 5 principles for helping PMs just like you make that decision. And I promise you, you are not thinking about number 5 nearly as much as you should. Let's break it down. Number 1 is compensation. You knew we were going to start with this one. Big tech gets you big dollars usually. Startups can promise you big dollars, but the reality is those are usually fairy tale dollars. They're not real. They're fugazi. They're not real. Yes, startups can sometimes get acquired or go IPO or have some other liquidity event. Most of the time, that's not the case. The few cases that we hear usually are due to survivor bias, which means they're very loud examples, so you hear about them. But the reality is, unfortunately, the streets of Silicon Valley are littered with failed startups. Huge amount of startups fail. So just looking at the numbers, going to startups will not be as profitable for an experienced PM as top tech. If you live in San Francisco, Seattle, or another top geography, the difference can be stark. Startups is going to be hard to get above 250 or 300 in total compensation, while top tech companies can pay 500, 600, 700, even $1 million a year. If the most important thing for you is compensation, then it's a strong point for big tech. Number 2 is skill growth. In what areas are you going to actually grow your candidacy? What are you going to learn on the job? And it really depends on what you want to be doing. So for skill growth, in big tech, you're usually working on big scale, big scope. You're learning what it's like to ship for 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, even 1 billion users or that much revenue. In small startups, you're learning how to iterate quickly. The next element that helps you decide is number 3, recognizable company names. How important is it for your future career to have recognizable company names, to have this reputational strength on your resume to open more doors for you in the future? Certain startups can open certain doors, but usually to other startups in that same niche or vertical or industry. But big tech companies, Google, Meta, DoorDash, Tesla, OpenAI, all of these companies can open pretty much any doors because they serve as a recognizable name, as a badge of honor, so to speak, on your resume. These names serve as signaling power of your profile, of your candidacy, and they can open a lot of doors and interest a lot of recruiters and hiring managers and many other companies, including startups. The 4th element is access to talent. Big tech tends to have a lot of talented people gravitate toward it. The big compensation, their recognizable names, they all attract this talent. And also the areas that they're working on. For instance, the biggest AI powerhouses like Google, Meta, Anthropic, OpenAI, they all act as a magnet for top talent. In startups, however, you'll usually have more scrappy people that want to build or create a career for themselves. So if you plan eventually to create your own startups or build your own companies or just have a big pool of talent to learn from a mentorship perspective, then top tech again gets a point on this one. And here's the final one. This is the one that I bet you're not thinking about, especially if you've never worked in big tech yet. The question of what exactly will you be doing on the job? If you're going to big tech versus startups, what exactly will your job be like? What will your day-to-day be like? And I can summarize this for you in one word. You can ship in startups or align in big tech. So that's the biggest thing, is how do you want to spend your days? And the higher level you are, the more this comes into play. The more you ship at a higher level in startups, and the more you align at a higher level in big tech. The majority of your time will be spent doing those 2 things. And that can have a huge influence on your mental health and everything around it. So most of the time, people don't think about the work that they're doing itself. They think that it's all interchangeable. People think that the work itself is interchangeable between big tech and startups. You're still doing product management work, but not really. Mostly you're doing alignment, you're getting people in a row, you're talking to people, you're trying to get buy-in, you're aligning for a longer time horizon, and that's what you're doing. And the higher level you are, the more you're doing that. And in startups, you're just trying to ship, iterate, find them product market fit, expand product market fit, go 0 to 1, go 1 to 100, and so on and so on. Now that you know the differences, you can identify the priorities for you and make your decision. Thanks very much. I'll see you next time.